Hello everyone, welcome back to Gogo Mujaji Spiritual Channel. Yes, you're more than welcome. Those who have subscribed and non-subscribers, you are welcome. And thank you for subscribing, guys. Okay, so like I said, I'll be talking about the importance of introducing a child to your ancestral world, or rather your spiritual guides, your angels, things and stuff like that. Okay, is it really important? As we all know that a children is actually a gift from God. Okay, we have children simply because it is the divine power that has actually allowed that to actually happen in our lives. Okay, so once the child is born, okay, we have to introduce the child to the spirit so that they can, though they are aware that a child is being born, but it is of our best interest, it is actually our duty to actually let them know in a respectful manner that a child has been born, and the naming part and so forth. Okay, for some they believe that it is not necessarily important to actually introduce the child to the ancestral world. Hence, a child is a gift from God, so it's rather not necessary to introduce the child. But then, hey, I beg to differ. As we know, we can actually debate about this over and over again. Like I said, different strokes for different folks. But then, fact remains, the spirits are there, whether we want to accept it or not, whether we practice it or not, whether we believe it or not, the spirits are there. Okay, whether we accept them, we acknowledge them, they are there, knowingly or unknowingly. So it is very much important to introduce a child once the child is born to your ancestral world. Introduce the child. Hence, like I'm saying, what if it happens that you have children when your parents are actually normal? You have to tell them that, mother, father, I have a child now. Okay, a boy child, or rather a girl child. So I just wanted to let you know, guys, that I have a child now, that you should help me. Okay, you should rather help me to bring this child up. Okay, remember that we need kind of support. We need that kind of a support, whether we like it or not. We need a spiritual support, we need a financial support, we need the physical support. Okay, so it's very important to tell your spiritual guides about a child once the child is born. Okay, hence for some there will be a need to name the child after somebody, or just any name that you feel suits the child. Okay, so you have to do some kind of like a small ceremony for the child to introduce the child to your ancestors, so that your ancestors can actually know. It might be a fact that for some you might not be married by that time, you have a child and you're not married. Okay, remember that the child carries a name of a maternal and the paternal side. Okay, so for the child to grow normally like any other child, you just have to introduce the child and let your spiritual guides know that this child is from this kind of a family. Okay, this child belongs to whomever, even though that person did not do right by you. Okay, even that person did not pay lobola, even though that person did not marry you rightfully so. Okay, so but then you have to let them know so that they can be able to protect the child. Remember that they don't know that kind of a party that you have joined by now. Okay, so you have to make them aware that I have joined this kind of a family, even though they did not do things right by me. Okay, so they will know that, okay, we have a child from so and so family out of wedlock, things and stuff like that. Yes, we can avoid that. It happens most of the time, so that the child can be protected, so that the child can be known spiritually. So, okay, yeah. So when two parties are actually married, it's not so much of a big deal than it is for a person who is not actually married. When you're not actually married, remember that your spiritual guides don't rightfully know the kind of a partner that you have had a child with. Remember that, okay? So once you get married to someone, those two families, they get connected, okay? They reunite, they become one. It's more like a one family now, okay? So but then if you're not married, it's kind of like problematic, because it creates some kind of like problems for the child, okay? Because now the child has to carry the surname of the maternal, the surname of the paternal. So hence you have to introduce the child to both, your spiritual guides, okay? So if the paternal feels the need to actually introduce the child to the other side, different strokes for different folks, yeah, they will basically do that as well for the sake of the child, okay? You got that, so that the child can be protected, so that the child can be one of our own, so that the child can not ke gore ngwana a se ka ba le dikgaba o kry ngwana a na le dikgaba sa tshwane le bana ba bangwe. It's because of ga a begiwa semmušo mo badimong, okay? So it's very important to do that, okay? Even though you're not doing anything big, you just make some traditional beer, understand, and tell your spiritual guides that I have a child. Because if you don't do that, it means that your child is not known spiritually. So because you haven't done that, okay, you have not introduced the child to the spirits, okay? Yes, we know that the child is actually a gift from God, but the spirits are there, whether we like it or not. They are our spiritual guides. They are the ones that are actually helping us, okay, in another shape or form, whether we know or we don't, knowingly or unknowingly. So we don't have to rather avoid the things that cannot be avoided, okay? It's part of life. We just have to let it be, okay? Let it be. Yeah, for some they will tell you that they don't belong in perhaps traditions, or they don't belong in such things. Introducing the child, before you know it, the child is having a problem. Before you know it, the child it's more problematic, or the child is more naughtier than the rest, okay? The child does not listen. It's those are some of the things that can actually affect a child from growing, okay, normally, having a normal life like other children. Remember that whatever that we do, it is for the right of the child. It is for the right of the children to actually grow, okay? Rightfully so. It is not their fault that perhaps you had children out of wedlock. It is not their fault, but then they don't have to actually carry the burden simply because of your own mistakes. You understand what I'm saying? It's more like having a child, and perhaps the child actually passes on. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to neglect the child. Hence, when you and things and stuff like that, you also have to mention such children, okay? You call upon them, you call upon the spirit as well, okay? So that they don't feel neglected. For some reasons, there can be you can find that you find problems in your life simply because you are neglecting your spiritual kids, okay? You not paying attention to them anymore, simply because yeah, they did not have that chance to actually live their lives into this world, okay? That's not the point. The point is you have to acknowledge them. When you call upon your ancestors, remember them as well, okay? Mention them as well, so that they can be at peace. They know that you acknowledge them. You know that they actually exist. You understand? The spirits never dies. They always there. They will exist whether we like it or not. They're gonna be there. So it is for our own good to actually acknowledge the dead, so that you can actually be on the safe side of life, okay? That's exactly what happens to the spiritual realm, okay? We don't have to forget about them. Hence, when we're making something like a small beer for those ancestors, okay, we have to also buy those sweets, those nutties that children will actually love, those pin pops they actually love, okay? So we have to include that, okay? There must be children as well, so that they can feel, like they belong. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. So uh, introducing a child to the spirit is very much important, okay? So whether we like it or not, it has to be done, okay? whether you do it at the later stage or you do it earlier. But then the best way is to do it earlier. Don't do it simply because you're facing troubles in your life, okay? Because it shows as though you don't actually acknowledge your spiritual guides, okay? Because they're there to protect you. They're there to make sure that your life is just as perfect the way you want it, okay? So that's all that I have for concerning the child, okay? Naming the child, things and stuff like that. You have to let them know, okay? The name of the child, things and stuff like that, okay? So yeah, that's all that I'm having for you guys. All right, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button just so you will know next time when I post a video, okay? Okay, it's bye bye from me.